Hey everyone, welcome to Cat and Dog English channel. I'm Mike, your English learning buddy dog.
And I'm Sarah, your cat host. We're so glad you're here. Today we're talking about something that's been making headlines everywhere, and it's a great topic for improving your English. Mike, you've seen the numbers, right?
Oh, I've seen them. And honestly, they're staggering. In 2023 alone, over 50 million Americans quit their jobs. 50 million. That's more than the population of Spain.
It's crazy. And what's wild is that this isn't just a blip. The trend has continued into 2024 and beyond. People are still quitting at record rates. So today, we're asking the big question, why?
Why are so many people walking away from stable jobs? And what does it tell us about how work is changing? Let's break it down.
So, Mike, I think the first thing people usually point to is the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic obviously disrupted everything. But how exactly did it lead to this massive wave of resignations?
That's a great place to start. The pandemic did two things. First, it forced people to stop and think about their lives. When you're stuck at home for months, you start asking questions like, is this really what I want to do with my life? And second, it gave people a taste of remote work. Millions of people work from home for the first time, and a lot of them realized, wait, I don't need to commute 2 hours a day to do my job.
Exactly. And once people experienced that freedom, there was no going back. A survey by Gallup found that nearly 60% of remote workers would rather quit than return to the office full-time. That's more than half.
More than half. Think about that. These are people who would literally rather be unemployed than go back to sitting in a cubicle 5 days a week. That tells you something profound has shifted in how we think about work.
And it's not just about remote work, right? There's also this bigger conversation about burnout. A lot of people realized during the pandemic that they were working way too hard for way too little and feeling completely unappreciated.
Burnout is huge. The World Health Organization actually classified burnout as an occupational phenomenon. It's not just feeling tired. It's chronic workplace stress that hasn't been successfully managed. And studies show that over 70% of professionals say they've experienced burnout at some point.
70%. That's almost everyone. And I think the pandemic made it worse because the line between work and home just disappeared. You're working from your kitchen table, your phone is buzzing at 9 p.m., and suddenly work has taken over your entire life.
There's no off switch anymore. That's the thing. Before, you left the office and that was it. Work stayed at work. But now, your laptop is right there on the dining table. One more email, one more Slack message, and before you know it, it's midnight.
So people started quitting. But here's what I find really interesting, Mike. It's not just people quitting to find better jobs. A lot of people are quitting to start their own businesses, to freelance, or to just step off the treadmill entirely.
That's what economists call the Great Resignation turning into the Great Reshuffle. It's not that people are leaving the workforce. They're reshaping it. They're moving from jobs that drain them to work that feels meaningful. And the data backs this up. New business applications jumped by a record amount during and after the pandemic.
People are starting bakeries, consulting firms, YouTube channels, online stores. I read about a woman who is a corporate lawyer making $200,000 a year. She quit to open a flower shop. She makes less money now, but she says she's never been happier.
And that's the key word, isn't it? Happy. For a long time, happiness wasn't part of the career conversation. You got a job, you climbed the ladder, you earned money, and that was success. But now people are asking, what's the point of climbing the ladder if it's leaning against the wrong wall?
That's a great quote. And I think younger generations, especially millennials and Gen Z, are driving this shift. They watch their parents work themselves to the bone, sometimes losing their health or their families in the process. And they're saying, not me. I want something different.
Gen Z is especially interesting. Studies show that work-life balance is their number one priority when choosing a job. Not salary, not prestige. Work-life balance. That would have been unthinkable 20 years ago.
And employers are struggling to adapt. A lot of companies are still stuck in this old mindset where they think, if we just offer more money, people will stay. But money isn't the problem anymore. People want flexibility, purpose, and respect.
There's a great phrase I heard recently. Someone said, people don't leave bad jobs. They leave bad bosses. And I think that's so true. You can have a mediocre job, but if you have a manager who respects you, who listens to you, who treats you like a human being, you'll probably stay. But if your boss is toxic, no amount of money is worth it.
Absolutely. And I think another factor that doesn't get talked about enough is the cost of living crisis. In a lot of cities, rent has gone through the roof. Groceries are more expensive. Childcare costs are insane. And wages haven't kept up. So people are looking at their paychecks and thinking, I'm working 40 hours a week and I still can't make ends meet. What am I doing?
It's a real problem. When your salary doesn't cover your basic needs, the whole bargain of work starts to fall apart. You start thinking, if I'm going to struggle financially anyway, I might as well do something I actually care about.
Right.
And I think that's why we're seeing so many people pivot to completely different fields. Teachers becoming software developers, accountants starting organic farms, bankers going into teaching. It's like the whole career map got shuffled.
So here's the big question, Sarah. Is the Great Resignation a good thing or a bad thing? Because some economists are really worried. They say it's causing labor shortages, disrupting supply chains, and slowing down economic growth.
I think it's both. In the short term, yes, it's disruptive. Companies can't find workers. Service is slower. Things cost more. But in the long term, I think this could be one of the most positive shifts in modern labor history. For the first time, workers have real power. They're demanding better conditions, better pay, better treatment. And companies are being forced to listen.
I agree. And I think the companies that adapt will thrive, and the ones that don't will die. We're already seeing it. The companies offering remote work, flexible hours, 4-day work weeks, mental health support. Those are the ones attracting the best talent. The ones clinging to the old model, they're the ones with empty desks.
So, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about quitting your job, what advice would you give, Mike?
I'd say 3 things. First, figure out what you actually want. Not what society tells you to want. Not what your parents want. What do you want? Second, make a plan. Don't just rage quit. Save some money, build a runway, think about your next step. And third, don't be afraid. Change is scary, but staying stuck is worse.
That's great advice. And I'd add one more thing.
Talk to people.
Reach out to friends, family, mentors. You don't have to figure this out alone. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just have a conversation with someone who's been there.
Perfect. Well, that's our show for today. The Great Resignation isn't just a trend. It's a movement. It's people reclaiming their lives, their time, and their happiness. And whether you're part of it or just watching from the sidelines, I think we can all learn something from it.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend who might need to hear it. And remember, you're doing great with your English. We'll see you next time on Cat and Dog English channel.
See you next time, everyone. And remember, it's never too late to rewrite your story. Keep learning, keep growing. We'll see you soon.